Okay, guys, carry on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, analytics has an application everywhere. Okay. Even in NGOs. Okay. It can be from as basic as keeping a count of how many old age people are there, how to kind of how are they doing in terms of health, how much expenditure are we making in maintaining their health. Starting from that to kind of keeping track how many of children were adopted from an orphanage. So it also has application in NGOs as well to answer the question. Okay, many of the times if you just go and Google about certain stuff, you will be able to find that a lot of people refer to data as the new oil. Okay, nowadays, like you see, oil is required for each and everything for transporting like basic things like vegetable, like medicines, anything. Okay, oil is a paramount requirement for our survival. Same is going to happen with analytics. The basic form of analytics that you will find at your place is when the cook, if you are not staying with a family and you are a bachelor or bachelorette, and the cook comes and asks you ki aaj kitni roti banani. Okay, so if there are 4 people in the house, 16 rotis. Okay, if someone has eaten outside and come, it comes down to only rotis for 3 people. So maybe by unitary method, it's only 12. That is also basic form of analytics. Okay, but certain people have an apprehension towards analytics as well, because certain experts say that analytics is like looking into the rear view mirror and driving forward. Does anyone want to take a shot? Why do some of the experts think of data analytics in that manner? Anyone wants to give it a shot?
According to me, I feel that maybe looking at past experiences helps us to improve our foresight.
Mm-hmm.
So probably if we have had any abnormalities in the past, so we can actually rectify. We can actually take them into account for making an analysis, and then we can produce better results for the future.
Okay. So analytics does involve a lot of looking into the data and data from past events. Okay. So say if I am preparing for someone's wedding, okay, and I have to understand how many guests will I be using, I will be inviting to the party, and how much of an expenditure will I be making. For that, I would be looking into historical information, like what all weddings has happened in my family in last few years, how many of those people were invited to them, okay, and what was the total budget and expense like. Okay, but it's past data. There is a possibility that a lot of your friend circle has expanded, or a lot of your friend circle has migrated to some other country. They are not going to come for your weddings. Okay, so there is a quite a maybe because of GST, the charges of have gone up, and you will have to pay extra for per plate charges in comparison to what you paid like last few years back. Okay, so it's like you are looking into the historical data and trying to kind of fit in or estimate that how much of an expense will you be making in the current day scenario. But at the same point in time, you have to be cognizant of the fact that whatever the impacting factors were there in the past, they have changed. Prices have changed. Your number of connections have changed. Okay, what people used to have 3 years back, they don't have the same thing nowadays. Okay, there was a point in time when people used to call other folks for their marriages and used to serve like roti chawal. Now that's not going to happen. You need to have biryani for those people. You also need to account for things that have changed since last time you had a historical event. Okay, so that is why at times people refer to analytics as like looking backwards and driving forward. Okay, so now coming down to what is business analytics. Analytics applied in a business case or a business problematic situation is business analytics. That's it, as simple, no rocket science. Okay, there are certain very key elements to business analytics, and there are 3 of those. Okay, it's math, technology, and business. Okay, let me give you a perspective of what is maths and what is why the technology is needed. Like a lot of you have mentioned that we will look into data, we will look into data, we will look into data. That's great. Okay, we'll look into data. But can someone give me an estimate how much of a data is created like on a day-to-day basis? Anyone has an estimate?
There are trillions and billions of data getting created day by day, and in that basis, you can say all over the globe, if you'll see, means it can be of infinite, can be.
So very recently I was going through an article which suggested that in last 3 years, the amount of data that we had created is equivalent to whatever was created prior to these 3 years. Okay. Every Facebook post, every Facebook like, or a retweet that you make on social media is also data. Every missed call that you made, every time you switched on the fan, okay, every time you use the elevator, that's also data. Okay, it's a different thing whether it's being captured or not, but that's data. Okay, so data is being created at such a exuberant pace, so it's humanly impossible, or even with like awesome technologies around us, it's almost impossible to kind of crunch this data until and unless you have a subset of it which would be kind of representing the whole population. Okay, so when say someone asks, okay, how is this particular class doing? Okay, a lot of time teachers, what do they do? They take the average marks and say that, okay, on a scale of 10, these students are performing at 8. Because that number 8 is the sample which is kind of representing the performance of the whole class. Okay, so that is where the math comes in, where you have to kind of ensure that you have pulled up a sample which is the representation of the whole population, and whatever analysis or breaking down of the particular analysis that you are trying to do is kind of done on that small sample. Okay, but just like I said, everything that you do basically kind of rolls out a particular kind of data. Okay, so imagine even if a small sample is producing so much of data, how will you handle that data? If you have to kind of today ensure that for a birthday party 50 people are to come, okay, you have to also keep track to whom all invitation went and who all responded to that invitation. Okay, you can use pen and paper if you want, but imagine a situation where there are 1,000 people. So you will probably go to an email channel where you will kind of opt for a particular response from the recipient that, okay, I will be coming or I will not be coming, or I am tentative. Okay, some of those features are also available in Facebook when you create an event these days. Okay, so there is the aspect of technology being used there. Okay, where you kind of reach out to people, understand what's their responses, you capture them, and kind of in a manner store them. Okay, and when it comes down to analyzing the sample set which you have been tracking, you use different kind of technologies to do that. So that's the aspect of math and technology. But why do business analytics is sustained? The reason of its existence is to serve the business. Okay, and to serve something, first you need to understand that. So invariably maths and technology might be the forte of an analyst. Okay, but business is something that he can never master. Just imagine the number of years say Ratan Tata or a certain Anil Ambani has been running his business. Do you think an analyst can learn whatever these people have been doing since last 30 years in 3 months time? It's practically not possible. Okay, so what happens when it comes down to business problems? The analysts prefer to work closely with the business stakeholders so that they can give in the input from the perspective of business, and maths and technology is supposed to be the fortes of analysts. Clear up to here? You can use chat messages to kind of let me know if you have any question or something. Okay, great. So the major takeaway, analytics is everywhere. Business analytics is a combination of three things: maths, technology, and business. Okay, and as far as I am concerned, I think business is the most important part. That's why we need to work with the business stakeholders pretty closely. Okay. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about what are the different types of business problems and solutions. Okay. It's very interesting that I have written problems and solutions. Why did not I give out the types of business problems separately and the solutions separately? Okay. It's because the business problems usually don't have types. It's the solution which has types. Okay. I think I would be able to explain you once kind of we go through the different types of solutions that we can provide. Can someone give me an example of business problem? Anyone can go on mute and themselves and then kind of give it a shot. Anyone wants to take a shot at what business problems look like? Okay, someone is saying profit maximization. Okay. So yeah, because someone has said profit maximization, let me create a particular problem for you. Okay. Adidas is into the business of acquiring merchandises of famous football clubs. However, they have observed that their revenue from Asia is pretty low, and hence, by the corollary to that, their profit is also very low. Okay. However, considering the majority of the population of the world is concentrated in Asia, they want to increase their profit share from this particular geography. Okay. So they want to understand where all can they invest and build up their assets so that their profit from Asia would be great. Okay. Now that I have mentioned this particular business problem to you, how many of you found it difficult to kind of understand what's going on? There are so many different elements, different geographies. Football clubs are involved. There are merchandises involved. Anyone found it very difficult to keep track of what the business problem was? No is a perfectly acceptable answer. I'm fine with it. Everyone understood, huh? What was the problem? Okay, fine. Okay, there are some honest people out here. Okay, someone is asking me to repeat. I'm saying Adidas is known for its sports merchandising. Okay, of late they have understood that Asia is a growing market for football. However, they have observed that their revenues and profits from the geography of Asia has been very low. So now they want to considerably increase their investments in Asia so that they can tap into the market and the huge population that is concentrated in this geography. Okay, so they want to understand where to invest, in what form should they do, should they be making these kind of investments. Okay, I get it. A lot of people, you are having difficulty in understanding this business problem. Forget about the solution. Just understanding this business problem takes time. Okay, because there are a lot of moving components into this: sports, football, merchandising, population, assets, investment. There are a lot of moving parts into it. Okay, that's how the business problems are. The business problems are complex. They have a lot of moving pieces. It takes time to understand. If some of you are understanding what is investment, you won't be understanding how does football merchandising works. Okay, if some of you understand football, you would not be understanding how come poor people of India and China be able to afford these kind of things so that they can, obviously, India and China put together has more poor people than the whole world in comparison to that. Okay, so when I say that, does is this a right kind of market for a company like Adidas to venture and kind of pump in more investment to get profit out of here? So there are a lot of moving pieces, and you have to decide how to kind of break down this particular problem and chase it, because chasing it as it is won't happen. Okay, so that is the basic reason why you need to break down the problem into smaller pieces and then tackle each small piece individually. Okay, but before you do that, okay, there can be different kind of solutions to a particular problem. Okay, when I say that there are different types of solutions, okay, I was basically referring to different kind of solutions, different forms of solutions. Okay, so say someone comes, okay, this was a very complex problem, let me tone it down a little bit. Okay, so say you work for a company where there are 100 employees. Okay, now the CEO of the company wants to understand if everyone is spending like 9 hours in office or not. Is their productivity more than 80% or not? If someone has a question. I heard a very feeble voice from someone. Okay, anyways, we'll proceed. Okay, so say he wants to, CEO of the company wants to track how many hours are employees spending in the office. Is their productivity beyond 80%? Is their attendance more than 75%? He just wants to track. And in case someone is kind of not adhering to the housekeeping discipline norms, then he probably would want to go and take up their case. So the solution to whatever the CEO is seeking is a descriptive one, where you are going and saying, okay, this person spends this much time in office, this many number of days he is available in office, and this is how his productivity looks like. Okay, so those are descriptive projects, proceeded by inquisitive projects. Okay, suddenly the CEOs have started to notice a lot of people have been quitting his company. Like every month there are 5 people who are putting down their papers. So at an annual rate, 60% attrition. At this attrition rate, the company would close down, because by the time you hire someone and train them, the experienced people are out of your company and your business is taking a hit. Okay, so to understand the reason why people are quitting your company and going somewhere else, that's an inquisitive form of a solution. Okay, at the same point in time, he has started to realize that, okay, his business is growing. Probably just having 100 people in the company would not help him to cater the requirements of his clients. So he will have to hire more people. But how does he estimate how many more people he needs to hire? Okay, it is not like the client is coming today and saying that, hey, boss, you do this project for me, and he will say, okay, wait, let me go hire people, train them, and then they will start working on you. And how much time will that take? 3 months. The client will say, okay, I will go to someone else. Okay, I don't have so much time. So you will have to basically predict how many people will you need, how many projects will be coming into this system. Okay, and how many people, how fast the people will get trained, how many of them will be low performers or poor performers, and we will have to throw them out. So that is a predictive sort of solution. And the last one is prescriptive. Okay, so coming back to one of the examples that I just mentioned a couple of sorry, I can get feedback from somewhere. Anyone who is not speaking, can go on mute, please. Yeah, good. Thank you. So I said that the attrition in the company is like crazy. Okay, so there are about 60 people out of the population of 100 who are leaving the company in a year. Okay, so you were able to find out, okay, the CEO was very rude, and that was the reason why people were kind of leaving the company and going. Okay, now you have to find a way to kind of mend that. Okay, it's very easy to say, okay, let's fire the CEO and get done with it, but that is not how things work. Okay, you will have to kind of ensure that people see value in other things. Obviously, being rude never helps in today's industry, so the CEO will have to kind of either maintain his distance from the employees, or he will have to kind of ensure that his demeanor is toned down. So basically, whatever as an analyst you find out, you're prescribing something for the current scenario to change. So those kind of solutions are prescriptive solutions. Okay, and there is a possibility, like there was a reason why I said the attrition being the same problem, but it is having two different forms of solution. One is where you are going and finding out what is the reason of attrition, and the other place where you are finding a remedy for this attrition. One was an inquisitive mode of solution, and the other one was prescriptive. Okay, so now you understand that if for a particular problem, there are multiple solutions and they can exist in different forms. Okay, before we go into decision supply chain, I would like to take some questions if you have any. Anyone has any questions? You can go unmute questions. Shushma has a question for me. Finding out the cause is analytics or the remedies is analytics? Both of them are analytics, Shushma. Just like I said, there are usually 4 categories of solution that analytics helps us to kind of find out. One is descriptive. Okay, when you describe everything like that, the word suggests. Okay, who is staying in office for how many hours? Who is performing on productivity metric? How many days are they available? Okay, at the same point in time, why people are going? Why is available? Means why you are curious, you are inquisitive. That's inquisitive. Okay, I think you got it. Should the business analyst be well aware of programming languages? Okay, this question is definitely not in the scope of today's presentation, but yes. Because like I said, the difference between is analyst has to look into data as well, but they are math heavy and tech heavy, whereas the business consultants are more into industry specific domains. Sunny, Joel Sunny is the name, I guess. Yeah, Sunny, I do understand you have a lot of questions regarding what are the prerequisites for business analytics. Brijesh, it would be great if you can share, if you can keep a note of Joel Sunny, we will send out some of the prerequisites of business analytics to him. Probably this is not a time where we can spend some time on talking about what are the prerequisites.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Brijesh. Sorry? Yeah, good. Okay, let's move on. What's the decision supply chain? So decision supply chain is nothing but how a problem occurs. How does the client come to us and say that, okay, I have this particular problem, can you solve it for us? And then how do we proceed and solve that particular problem? The life cycle of a business problem is called decision supply chain. Okay. So here we get started with the development and understanding of the business problem. Okay, like I said, someone is coming to you and saying that, boss, my sales are going down. What would you ask that particular person? What were you selling? How were you selling it? To whom were you selling? How were you getting your target audience? Who were your competitors? All those kind of questions you will ask now because you don't understand his business. You know maths and technology, but that particular person is having a very specific need. And to kind of understand that need, first you have to understand their business. And how do you develop an understanding of someone's business? By asking correct questions or the right questions. Okay. So that is the first step. Understand what you are dealing with. Okay. Then you have to understand, okay, he is saying that his sales have been going down. Okay. So that is a trigger. Okay. If his sales, if he was like making like 500 rupees every day, then why would he come to an analyst, give him another 100 rupees and say, okay, why are my sales not going up or something? Obviously, that would be a trigger or something which has made him ask that questions. Okay, my sales are going down. Okay, so in this case, the decline in sales is a trigger. So when you have to develop an understanding, you ask about his business as well as why is he asking that particular question. So when keep this decision supply chains concepts in your mind, because we are going to do some case studies post this. Okay, and knowing this decision supply chain will help you to kind of tackle that. Once you have developed an understanding of the business and what the problem is, like I said, business problems can be fuzzy, they can be complex. You have to break it down into smaller pieces, and then finally there are 4 modes of solutions that you can provide to a particular person. You have to understand what will solve his requirement the best. Okay, so for that you will do the problem definition. You will break it down into smaller pieces and try to tackle each one of them individually. Okay, once you have developed the understanding, then you do the problem definition. Once you have done that, then is the part where you get into data. Okay, and you understand. Okay, possibility is that the data will tell you, okay, previously like 200 customers were walking into your store every day. Now there are just 50 people walking into your store. Or it might be able to tell you that previously a particular guy was giving you 60% of your business. Now that particular guy has gone to a competitor. Okay, so when you do look at the data and you do some exploratory analysis, because you don't know, exploratory means you are not sure what you are searching. When Columbus found America, he was exploring. Okay, he did not know that, okay, there is a country America and I'm going there. He just went out and happened to stumble across America. Okay, same is the case with data. Okay, you explore it and then see if you are finding some trend of findings. Okay, then once you have done that, you have an understanding of the business, you have broken down the problems, you understand what your client is asking for and what does he need. You have seen some trends, findings, inferences you have drawn from the data. Now it's the time for you to finalize the approach that you are going to solve that particular problem. Okay, once you have done that, okay, say in this particular case, someone was selling goods worth of 500 rupees every day. Now his sales have gone down to 400 and he is worried and he is coming to you. You need to go and tell him that boss, why don't you do one thing? Invest 10,000 in marketing. Will he go and invest 10,000 in his marketing? He might be looking for a solution from you. Okay, just a moment, guys. I got a long message from someone. Every analyst can take a different approach to reach a solution to the business problem. Solution for the business problem. Good question, Neeraj. So basically, Neeraj is saying that every analyst can take a different approach to reach to a solution of a business problem. How and who determines the solution is the most viable solution and the business problem? So guys, just keep that question in mind. I could be covering that in another 2 minutes. Okay. So like I said, once the approach is identified or you have finalized the approach, your solution to the declining sales is to invest 10,000 in marketing. You go to the client and say that, boss, you spend 10,000 on your marketing. Okay, and your sales will go up. Someone who makes 500 rupees a day, 10,000 is a huge number for him. Will he straight away listen to you and go and spend 10,000? He will not, because he is anyways making a sale of 400 every day. Additional 100 rupees sale is not worth 10,000 of marketing. He has to be really convinced that this 10,000 that he will be pumping into marketing expenses will give him some lift in his sales. At the same point in time, he will be asking you, proof kya hai? What's the basis on which you are making this swiping statement that, boss, if I spend like 10,000 rupees on marketing, my problem would be solved. He will be asking you for proof, which obviously you will get from data, because numbers don't lie. Okay, if you aspire to be an analyst, remember this thing: data has to prove each and everything that you say. Okay, I got a question from Sunanda and it just says why. Okay. I don't exactly understand that. Sunanda, can you go unmute and explain what the question is?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi Sunanda.
Hello. Yeah, we can
Yeah,
use through conventional or evolved approach, right, for business problems. Is it correct?
I exactly don't understand what's a conventional approach and what's a evolved approach. Can you elaborate a little?
Yeah, it's like a finding business solution. There is two approaches, right, in case studies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Sunanda, I don't exactly understand what's conventional and evolved approach. If you can drop a detailed note to Rajesh, he can pass it on to me, and I will definitely respond to that email and get back to you on this.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay, fine. So as I was saying, you need to kind of ensure that the client understands why you are making a suggestion, what's the basis, and your data will help you to kind of form a case for you, where the client will come on board and kind of accept you. Okay, no, I need to spend 10,000. Okay, so that is where I say you need to package your solution. Okay, these are the 3 recommendations that I am making. These are the 3 changes that you will have to do. Okay, and this is why I am saying them. And if you do them, I am estimating this much of impact will be there. If I have to contextualize it, your sales are going down. You need to pump in 10,000 rupees into marketing. And I am saying this because the number of people walking into a store has reduced. If more people have to know that you are running a business, then they will come to your store. So for that, you need to do marketing. And this is the data to kind of support my claim. And then finally, the client comes on board, and then he kind of does marketing, and then you are waiting for the next thing. Now, you might be thinking that, okay, my data said this, my client has agreed, I will just implement the solution and get done with it. Why is the next block reading as implementation, monitoring, and revising? Okay, because every time, okay, if I hope quite a few of you are science graduates and would have done some sort of experiments, okay, in your college days. So basically, when you do one experiment just once, okay, what usually happens? You get a particular reading, say 5.5. The next time you do the same experiment, you get 5.4. And that happens because of some of the random factors which are involved in the whole thing. Okay. So similarly, when you are kind of implementing a particular solution, there can be a lot of things like the macroeconomic and factors, like say unemployment rate was going higher, or GST was done, or demonetization happened. Those kind of factors are not under your control, and they might also be a reason why your particular solution might not work in short term. Okay, so you need to keep on monitor, like you were expecting, okay, the sales will be going up to 600 rupees a day after you spend 10,000 rupees in advertisements. Okay, but you need to monitor that if this 600 rupees of sales is happening or not. And if it's not happening, then you will have to go and revise the solution. That's why I said solving a business problem is a sequential but an iterative process as well. Okay, you will have to keep on going to and fro till you have kind of hit the sweet spot. Okay, remember guys, every time you solve a business problem, there are 3 steps to it. Think why. And if sales are going down, what's the reason because of which the sales are going down? Once you have understood that, what can be done to stop the sales from going down, or what can be done to increase the sales? Okay, once you have understood, okay, more number of people walking into my store, more will be the sales. You have understood what needs to be done, but how will you do that? How is you have to do marketing so that more people will know about the store, and the more number of people will come and check out the things that are present in the store. Okay. So within today's scope, we will try to develop an understand, kind of try to figure out how to develop an understanding of a business and how to define a particular problem. So guys, actually, we took a lot of time today, and we are just left with another 14 minutes in today's session. So I had planned for 3 different case studies. Let's just do one, okay? And the remaining 2 will be sent out in the PPT that will be shared with you by Brijesh. Okay. So let's try to solve the first problem. It's pertaining to McDonald's. Okay. Now I am going to kind of show the particular problem to you, and I would one person, anyone, whoever does it the first, go unmute and tell me what will you do as the first step. Okay, here is a business problem. Okay. Okay, anyone is doing a shot? I don't see
what are the products? Hello?
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
what
hear
are the
you.
products that are being sold by what are the products that are being sold by McDonald's, as well as what are the rival companies, like what are the competing companies which are selling the same products?
Okay, so these are the two things that you will ask the business. Okay.
No, these are one of the things maybe I'll ask. There are more things which need to be asked before problems can be defined.
Oh, okay. These are not the first questions that you should be asking. There might be an important question at a later point in time, but this is definitely not the first 2. In fact, these are not even the first 10 questions that you should be asking the client who comes to you. Okay. Anyone else wants to give it a shot? I see someone by the name of Rudra is saying target customers, product, prices offered by them and rivals. I am looking at someone is saying introduce offers at certain hours. Okay, as I get a point, what you guys are kind of looking into.
Yeah, hi Pradut. Apologies for interruption. First of all, we need to understand what type of customers are actually coming, whether they are vegetarian or non-vegetarian, because that matters. If McDonald's having a stock of non-vegetarian items more than the vegetarian, and the vegetarian persons are
I got your point. Okay, but again, I would say
I want to make one more point. Hello.
Yeah,
I would like to make one more point. I don't know if it's correct or not. Maybe 1 minute. The location of the stores, like probably if it is located near to some place where people can come frequently, or where it is nearby, probably that can help in raising the revenue. Maybe close to some college or some place like that.
Okay, I got a lot of initial questions that you will ask the businesses, and I'm very happy to say all of you are wrong, very wrong. Okay, now let me tell you. Okay, one person is coming and telling you, okay, someone from McDonald's called you and asked you for your assistance regarding to the falling sales in the current year. Okay, do you know if he's a store manager or the CEO of India operations? Means no one in India is, means if the CEO is coming, probably India has started not to eat in McDonald's as well. Will your solution remain the same if you are catering it to a store manager or the CEO of India operations or COO of India operations, as a matter of fact? The solution would change, right? Someone said introduce a new menu. Okay, not exactly. First you have to understand the business, then you say probably special offers and all that. So all that would come very later. First be curious. Okay, first understand the business. Okay, you are from McDonald's, right? Okay, what do you do in McDonald's? Okay, you are a store manager, so your particular store is not selling well. How are you saying it's not selling well? Has the sales gone down, or it's just that you expected to sell like 10,000 rupees worth of product every day and you are just selling like 5,000. Okay, low and high is a comparative number. Okay, are you comparing with last year's benchmark, or are you just comparing it against some benchmark that you created in your head? Okay, has anything changed in your business? There's a possibility that there has been a deflation in the market, because of which whatever was available in McDonald's for 30 rupees last year, this year that is available for 20. Okay, and that's why the numbers are just changed. Getting my point, guys? First and foremost thing is understand who is coming and asking the problem, because the solution that you would be giving the chief operating officer of India operations would be very different from what you would be telling a store owner or manager, as a matter of fact. Okay, so say it's a store manager. Okay, the store manager says that, okay boss, this is what happened. So at an average every month 200 people used to walk into my store every month. Okay, now if I see the number is still around 200. Okay, in 1 month there are say 195 people, and the next month there are 205 people. So at an average it remains more or less the same. Okay, but I see that my if last month I was selling products of, last year I was selling products worth of 10,000, I am only making 8,000 rupees this particular month, or in this particular year at an average I am making only 8,000. Okay, so then you will ask question, okay, so over year your sales are reducing. Okay, but you said that the number of people walking into your store is remaining consistent. So now the approach to think about it is, people are coming to this particular McDonald's store, but they are not purchasing, or whatever they used to purchase, their token sizes have gone down. Say previously what used to happen, people used to buy a burger and along with that they are buying a Coke. Nowadays what has happened, when they're buying a burger, due to a lot of health consciousness campaign, people have stopped drinking cold drinks. They don't buy a Coke. Okay, because of which only burgers are getting sold. That can be also a possible reason. So you have to now understand what has changed since last year. Okay, so one of the possible reasons that I would be asking him, has the size of the basket changed? Okay, when I say what's a basket, everything that you purchase goes into a basket. Okay, that's at least the retail term for it. Okay, so no, the basket size remains same. Okay, so I'm saying that now there is only one possibility. If the basket sizes are remaining same, and then people are coming in and going, and the purchases are still going down despite of the number of footfalls remaining the same. How many of you understand footfall? What's a footfall? Footfall is basically the number of people who is kind of walking into the store. Megha says, what sells most? Okay, yeah, that is also a fair question, but like I said, it would come a little down the road. First you have to understand what are the bigger factors. Okay, like if you are trying to kind of deal with like hundreds of problems in your life, you will make a priority order, right? So biggest problem or the most impactful problem has to be solved first, then the second, then the third, then the fourth. Okay, in descending order of the size of the problems. So similarly over here. Okay, first you have to understand, okay, is that the case? Has deflation happened? You get to know, no, deflation has not happened. People still are walking into McDonald's to have their food, but still the sales are going down. So there is one possibility that people are walking into a store and they're not purchasing anything and leaving, because the basket sizes are the same, right? Target customers, whether children or adults. Okay, that is again one question which has to be tackled much later. Okay, so when this particular problem is to be solved now, you have to understand, because the basket size is remaining the same, whatever was being sold the most in the previous years is also being sold right now as the same. Okay, there's a hypothetical situation, so I'm acting as a store manager and saying all this. So one big conclusion would be people are walking into the store, but without any purchases, they are leaving. Okay, in which particular situation will someone come to a store and leave without purchasing anything? Okay, there can only be two reasons. One, you are not getting what you need. Someone came in for a chicken burger, but you don't have chicken burger. Obviously, quite a few of them would be pissed off and they will leave. Some of them might opt for something else, but you will lose some amount of customer. Okay, so that is one angle of looking at things. Boss, whatever they needed, that's not available. The other thing is, probably it would take a lot of time. Okay, say if you go to get a cold drink to a particular store, and if he says you will have to wait for 30 minutes, will any one of you wait? Okay, most of us won't. Okay, so either you will not get what you are looking for, or it will take a lot of time. Okay, the other possibility is when you, sorry, someone has a question? Okay, fine. Or there is another possibility. You entered into the store on a very, very hot day of May. Okay, thinking that, okay, I will go and have a cold drink. But once you entered, there was no AC working. That, okay, chuck it. Let's not go to McDonald's. Let's go to KFC. वहाँ पे AC मिलेगा. Okay, that might also happen. Okay, so this is how. Okay, initially, like you, there were three questions that you asked the store manager. Okay, has your basket size changed? Has there been deflation, or have you changed your menu? Okay, now these three things helps you to understand what's the problem like. First, you understand the business by asking who is asking you a particular question. Okay, what makes them say that sales is going down? What makes them say that the number of footfalls is similar that of last year? Okay, you understood the business, then you ask questions regarding this particular situation. Okay, and then you come to an inference, either the facilities are not up to the mark, or whatever they were looking for that has not available, or the third thing is whatever you were seeking, that would take a lot of time. There are other factors as well. There is a possibility that last year you used to get a burger for 30 bucks. Okay, but now you go there at 60. You said, why has the price increased so much? I don't want to have a burger from here. I will go to somewhere else. Okay, so this is how you ask questions and narrow down onto the what are the possible reasons. And guys, this is actually a business problem which came to me when I was working for one of my previous companies, and I will tell you what was the reason. The reason was that previously there used to be last year there used to be 4 counters to place your order and take your food orders. Okay, so if there were 10 people, the person who is 10th, had to wait for 2 cycles of billing to get his order placed. Now, because they have reduced 1 billing counter, the person who is 10th had to wait for the 4th billing cycle to be initiated so that he can place his order. Is everyone getting that particular articulation? Okay, fine. Okay, so the number of billing counters reduced, and hence the waiting time for people increased, because of which a lot of people were walking into the store and still walking out without purchasing anything. Okay, so you ask a lot of questions and then you kind of respond to it. Okay, then you start ruling out your possibilities. Okay, like have you seen some what do you say, detective movies of late. Okay, there are like 5 criminal suspects. You ask a lot of questions, you make a lot of inferences from whatever you listen, and then you kind of, okay, this person cannot be a killer, this person cannot be a killer. Okay, this person is still doubtful. Okay, I will move on to the next one. Okay, and hence you do your deductions. Okay, so and even before you get into the data, I will tell you, in real life, a lot of times just asking the right questions gets you very close to solving a particular problem. Now you are looking into data just to find evidences to support your claim. Okay, but in general, the problem is solved because you were able to ask the right questions. Okay, means it might also have happened to you in your personal life when you are just sitting and someone who is much more experienced than you, or much more has a lot of understanding of real life issues, comes and talks to you and just asks you questions. Things become more clearer in your life. At least that happens to me. Okay, so it's like this is the sequence that you need to follow. Ask questions to understand the business. Identify the trigger. Why is this person saying that the sales are going down? Whether he thought that, okay, I will sell like 5,000 rupees ka stuff, but he's selling like 2,000. Then here there are two moving pieces. Maybe the benchmark that he set was wrong. Probably this area will not fetch you 5,000 rupees. It will only fetch you 2,000. And for all you know, you are meeting your whatever is the realistic expectation for that particular area. Okay, so identify the trigger. Okay, then register what the client is looking for. Out here, the client just wanted to understand why the sales are going down. The client would have also come up to you when he is looking to understand why the sales is going down. That's an inquisitive solution he is looking for. Why is my sales going down? However, if you would have come to you and said that, okay, boss, help me to increase my sales, then you would have given him a prescriptive solutions. Okay, boss, put a counter back. Okay, or maybe do some more marketing if increasing a counter is not possible. Okay, so those kind of things. Okay, and once you have done that, there's a framework where you can define your problem. And this is that particular framework. First, you fill the current state. Okay, the current state is the number of people walking into the store is just same as what it was, or similar what it was last year. Okay, however, the sales are lesser than what it was last year. The menu, the macroeconomic factors, the competition, and everything remains the same. The customer experience of the people who are having food is same. Okay, that's the current state of affairs. Okay, however, in future state, you would like to have your sales back to whatever it was last year. At the same point in time, you would also like to understand why the sales were going down and how much of a losses did you make in terms of monetary value. Okay, so that you won't repeat the similar mistakes in future. Okay, so guys, this is the framework, and then you have the gap. Okay, so like I said, a lot of time people don't understand, okay, why a particular problem is happening. Otherwise, a McDonald's store owner, if you would have known, okay, just because I shut down one particular billing counter, okay, then that was the reason my sales is going down. So he would have put it back together. But there was something because of which he was not able to understand, okay, why is the sales going down. So that will form the gap. Okay, guys, that's the problem. We kind of went into a lot of details today.
Pradyut bridges this side.
That's why we could not.
Yeah, Pradyut bridges this side. Just couple of questions people are asking, and I have a very simple question. Couldn't the salesman say, head of the store figure this solution out, that that he has to add another counter to it. The solution looks very simple for
Okay. Usually, okay. Mensa. Okay. Like I said, analytics happens at a lot of places. Even at your home, analytics happens. Okay, when as simple as how many rotis to be made today. Okay, for that you don't approach an analyst. Okay, but when it comes to businesses, a lot of times different factors might be impacting this particular scenario. Okay, now, okay, the store manager could have said, okay, what has changed since last year? Okay, the only thing has changed that I have reduced the billing counter. Let me put that billing counter back. But why was the billing counter removed? Okay, when you would be asking questions to the business will be telling you the billing counter was removed so that we can increase the sitting capacity. Okay, now to increase the sitting capacity, you made some investment. Now to remove that sitting capacity and kind of putting a billing counter back, again you will make an investment without making a formal inquiry or a structured inquiry into why is the sales going down. So only trigger happy people would do that. Okay,
Understood.
so it's a different matter of fact. It's a different thing if the store manager would approach an analyst to solve this problem, or will he try to figure it out himself by like those people who are waiting in the queue. He will go and just ask, okay, what's happening, what's not. But basically, what is he doing? He's doing a form of analysis. Like, okay, like I said, analytics is basically a formal approach to analysis. Okay, here, if he would have gone and talked to the people who are standing in the queue and getting agitated, he would have done some basic analysis. Maybe there was no structure, but he was doing the crux part right. So it's not essentially that someone will approach an analyst to solve their problems, but it's kind of counterproductive to take an action without kind of making a proper investigation and analysis of why some particular situation is happening in a business. I hope the answer is clear, Brijesh.
Yes, yes. I think Subhadeep has a question.
Yeah. If so, who formulates the problem mathematically? It's the analyst's responsibility to kind of formulate whatever equations and everything has to happen. But I will tell you, in real world, at least in India, the process of data collection is still not streamlined. So a lot of time businesses kind of operate on hunch. They don't have a mathematical background to it or mathematical justification to it. Like if you would have gone to banks like 4 or 5 years back, you would have seen those big ledgers in there. They did not have computers and all that. And when you are working in those setups, you cannot create a mathematical number, because even if you have an equation, you don't have the data to feed into that particular equation. However, if the data is available, it's the responsibility of the analyst to ask the client, okay, I need this particular data. Okay, like in this particular McDonald situation, he would have asked you, okay, give me the sales information from last year. If you have any customer related information, like these are the 20 people who are your regular customers, I need their information. I need the information what all menu you had last year and what all new additions or removals you have done from your menu for this year. What were the prices? Those are the kind of data the analyst will ask to the client for. Okay, and then depending upon what all data is available to him, he will take a call what kind of statistical distribution or mathematical equation can help him to make a strong case for himself or herself. Okay, so once that is done, then they would be able to kind of take, okay, I am saying your customers are dissatisfied because they have to wait so long, because last year someone was waiting for, at an average, was waiting for 2 minutes. This year he is waiting for 3 minutes at an average. Okay, so this is the number and this is the survey that I have done. Last year customer satisfaction ratio was 9 on 10. This year it's 8 on 10. That is also going down. So this is the mathematical backing to my claims that your customers are not happy because of waiting times. Okay, just put one counter back. Or like I said, okay, over here waiting time was an issue, because of which this was happening. The other possibility was they could start home delivery. Okay, that is also one possibility. Or they can start giving takeaways. Okay, so obviously one problem can have multiple solutions. like I think someone was typing it out on the chat window. Like, what if a particular problem has multiple solutions? Okay, someone is having a hair fall. There are two solutions for him: either get a hair transplant or just go bald, get shaved. Okay, so there can be two things. Okay, both of those will stop hair fall. Okay, so it depends how what is the possible approach that you want to take, but a business problem can definitely have multiple solutions. Any more question, guys?
Guys, if you have time, can you have one short another case study if you guys agree? Yeah, Pradeep.
Anyways, guys, I will be doing one thing.
Do one
I
more.
will kind of ensure that
Pradeep,
we'll do one more.
yeah, please do one more. Many like it's yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about this particular one. This is one of the problems that I have personally solved. How many of you are aware of this company called ExxonMobil? It's Fortune 2 after Walmart, uh, a world leader when it comes to oil and petroleum and gases. Okay, so ExxonMobil, specifically in Europe, have two kind of terminals. Okay, where they dispense fuel. One is a self-service one where you have to get down from your car or whichever vehicle you are having. You have to take the pipe, fill your vehicle with fuel, and then you have to swipe your credit card or debit card and make the payment and get the hell out of there. Okay, those are self-serving terminals. And then there are these attended terminals where you will be having a guy or usher who will be kind of filling the fuel for you. He will take your card, he will swipe it, hand over the card back to you along with the bill and all those kind of stuff. So as it is, okay, people have a tendency to get service if it comes for free. Okay. However, because I am giving some extra facility at the attended terminal, I ought to charge them a little more. And that's how the businesses works in European countries. If the petrol is being charged for say €3.20 at the self-serving terminal, €3.20. In the attended terminal, it would be €3.30. So an increased price of 10 cents. Okay. So generally, okay, what happens? People don't want to spend an additional 10 cents on the service which they are getting from the usher at the attended terminals. So they generally go to the self-serving terminals where they end up paying only €3.20. Okay. At the same point in time, if a lot of people are trying to save that, okay, and when they are filling up the petrol, swiping their card, they are not experts. So they generally take more time to do that same thing which a usher is doing at the attended terminal. Okay, so the company ExxonMobil wants to keep this price differential in an optimum manner, okay, or at an optimum magnitude, so that his sales will not be hampered, but the queue in front of in front of the self-service terminal should not be too high. Means like when people, okay, obviously if you are waiting at a particular counter, there are two counters in front of you. One place you are getting samosa for 5 rupees, the other place you are getting it for 20. Where people are getting a samosa for 5 rupees, they are willing to wait for say 5 minutes to get their samosa. But a lot of people are cramming over there. Okay, everyone wants a 5 rupees wala samosa. No one wants a 20 rupees wala samosa. Some people will say, okay, chuck it, I have a lot of money. I'm Dhiru Bhai Ambani ka beta. Okay, I will go to the 20 rupee wala counter and get my samosa from there. Okay, so what should be that price differential so that people would not mind to switch over from the self-service lane to go to the terminals where there is an usher to attend them. Okay, so that was the question. Okay, now I give you a lot of explanation about how does the business work. Okay, so when the client came to us, we had to ask him, okay, why are you saying? First, we understood his business. Like I gave you a complete download of how things work. Okay, But we had to get this download by doing a lot of research on internet as well as asking the clients. Okay, once that was done, now you have to ask the client, okay, you have been having differences in the prices of fuel at these two terminals from a long time, but why do you want to solve this problem? Why do you want to optimize that particular thing? So the client in that particular scenario kind of told us ki of late what we have been seeing ki the customers want fuel at a cheaper price, so they opt for self-serving terminals. But the wait at self-serving terminals is so high that they get irritated. And once they get irritated, some of them don't even want to go to the attended terminals. They say that, okay, we will go somewhere else where the self-serving terminal is having a little less queue or little less waiting time. Or in certain cases, the prices of the attended terminals were so close to the self-serving terminal prices that people were very ready to kind of go to the attended terminals, and the ushers at the attended terminals were getting overworked. Okay, and we had to put in more staff over there. So what is the optimum price that we have to maintain so that people should not get irritated, and we will be having customer attrition? At the same point in time, we should not be kind of our ushers at the attended terminal should not be overworked. Okay, so it became an kind of optimization wala problem. But that was the thing. First, we had to ask questions to understand the business. The second thing, we had to understand the trigger. The trigger was a lot of customers were attriting or leaving the station without taking fuel because the waiting time at self-serving terminals was too much, and the price difference in comparison to the self-serving terminals at the attended terminals was very high. Okay, like if this would have been a practical situation, one place you are getting a 5 rupees ka samosa, the other place you are getting a 20 rupees ka samosa. Some of you people will be brave enough to go and get that 20 rupees ka samosa. If I say it's a 500 rupees, no one is going to eat that 500 rupees ka samosa. Okay, everyone says 5 rupees ka samosa, bhaad mein jaye, I'm not having samosa, I will go have chaat. Okay, so similar kind of situation. They wanted to grab customer attrition at the same point in time and even workflow for the ushers at the attended terminals. That was the trigger. Okay, then what the client was looking for? The client was not looking for an optimum price. If any one of you is familiar with the petroleum market or the fuel industry, you know that the prices change every second. Okay, prices fluctuate every second, and with changing prices and taking into consideration that different geographies will have different prices, this optimum price difference will also change. So the client needed a simulation tool where they can kind of come up with this optimum price difference for different sites, means different petrol pumps, and on the basis of which country that is, what is the prices of crude oil in the market. Okay, so those kind of things can be taken into consideration, and this framework will kind of be able to tell them. So at the end, we had to create a proper tool at the back end of which a lot of Python queries were going on. The front end has a user interface, okay, where someone was feeding, okay, this is the particular petrol pump. You have seen general user interface and the backend packages, right? Like calculator. Okay, there is a lot of programming done in the backend, and in front you have all those buttons where you give in your input. The backend coding of the calculator kind of makes the computation and then gives out a number to you. Okay, so something in those sort was the final end product that the client was desiring. Okay. At the same point in time, okay, we had an understanding right at the beginning, this is what we are looking at. But then we had to break down the problems into different dimensions, like, okay, what are the macroeconomic factors that we need to take into consideration? Okay, what is the prices level that we can maintain? Okay, finally what we came up now, the price differential. Okay, when you are trying to optimize your price differential, say all over, you said that the optimum prices is 5 cents. Okay, and all over in the city the self-service stations are giving out petrol for 3 euros. Okay, and you decide, okay, I have to maintain 5 euros ka difference. So I started selling my self-serviced petrols at 310, and attended terminals will be having a 315. You are maintaining a 5 cents ka price, but will the customers opt to come for you? No, they are getting cheaper fuel somewhere else. They will go there. Okay, so you have to keep a baseline. So that was also one of the components that we kind of came up with. Okay, so that is how you understand the business. You understand the trigger. You break it down into pieces. A lot of research goes into even before you look into data. Okay, so if there is one thing I can tell you guys that you should be taking away from here, to become a good analyst, you need to know a lot of technical skills, mathematical skills. But before that, you should be having a very sound uh, problem designing skill. When I say problem designing skill, it's about understanding ki, okay, this means like that detective goes, na, okay, this guy was in Mumbai the day that murder happened in Bangalore. So this guy is not the person. So like he is reducing, he is understanding each and every fact that is there in front of him, and then he is slowly and steadily ruling out the possibilities. Okay, then finally once he has done those deductions, he goes down to numbers. That is where he looks for data. Okay, so the key takeaway that I would say was, don't look at numbers. First understand the business and understand the problem. Once you are that comfortable with business and problem that you can break it down into smaller pieces and show it to the client, and the client says, yes, this is what the problem that I want to solve, you know that you have completed 80% of your work. Because generally, I will tell you, usually projects kind of last for 1 to 3 months, and I don't remember a single business problem which I have solved which was of a tenure of around 3 months, and I have spent like less than 1 month just defining the problem. Okay, so that's the most important aspect. You cannot understand the business in a day or two. You have to do a lot of background reading. If you go and start asking like stupid questions to people, like when I was solving this particular ExxonMobil price differential problem, I was dealing with the chief financial officer of Germany. Okay, and if I would have gone and asked him, boss, what kind of petrol do you sell? Is it with lead or without lead? Tight slap. Okay, those are very, very high profile people, executive level people. Okay, you have to ask them right kind of questions. So that is one of the key takeaways that I would want you guys to take. With that, we are almost done with this case study as well. Guys, I will do one thing. I will complete this framework and send it out to you, okay, in a couple of days time, okay, so that you can have a look. Maybe I will just kind of complete it for 2 of the initial problems. The third one, I will let you guys to do some research and do it yourself, and you guys can send it back to me, that I can give you some feedback. Okay. In the meantime, if you have any questions, I am happy to take them. Anyone has any question?
Guys, feel free to ask any question. Like if you have any question, please feel free to ask.
I'm okay with any questions. Like Sunny, you wanted to know about the technologies and everything, right? Any questions is fine. Okay, how to decide whether we have understood the business? Okay, there is when you're solving a particular problem, right? The scope is so less that you cannot understand the whole problem. Okay, if you go to US, UK, Europe, European nations, okay, they only hire business consultants who have completed their MBA. so they can understand business faster. Okay, so more or less when we solve problems, it's like okay, to understand this particular problem, to break it down into pieces, we have understood enough of business. Okay, but then like I said, it's a reiterative process. Again, you find something in data which you don't understand or cannot explain from first principle thinking, you again go back to the clients. So there is a lot of to and fro which happens. But when you are trying to understand the business, the first source of information is always internet, and then you discuss with the people who have actually worked in that domain, and then you go to the clients. Okay, because because the client is paying, okay, they can only have kind of certain amount of time. Just a minute, guys. Oh, a lot of questions. I'm in the final year of MSc Economics. Just a minute, guys. Oh, it's like an avalanche of questions now. I'm a final year student from MSc Skills. Look for. Okay, Megha, there are a lot of people from economics background who were working with me in Mu Sigma. In fact, I had a lot of people when I was in Kolkata for a recruitment drive. So one advantage with people who have done economics is that they understand money well. And how is that flowing? From where is it flowing? Okay, those kind of things they understand well, and hence they have an advantage when it comes to understanding business. What I would encourage you to do more is understand a little bit of programming. Okay, so programming is more or less like, if you understand the logic, it's just the language which keeps on changing, and picking up the language is not a difficult thing. Learn how to make algorithms, flowcharts, that would be helpful. Okay, and generally recruiters look for things how analytical you are, how logical you are in your thought process. Like, okay, you are suggesting, okay, boss, let's spend on marketing. But even if that's the wrong approach to go to improve your business, still, if you have a properly chalked out thought process, it's still good enough. Like I said, economics, there are a lot of people from economics background with whom I have worked. One of my most favorite managers was an eco graduate. So economics people can do business analytics. There is no big deal in that. How do you decide the problem analyzed is actual cause of it? Like I said, you will never be 100% sure. That is why even once you have implemented a particular solution, you need to keep on monitoring it, and in case it is not fetching you the desired result, you will have to kind of go and revise your particular solution. Sushma, I hope that answers your question. How do we keep track of our solution is on the right track? Okay, so it's very simple. Okay, say you are having fever, you are having 102 temperature, and someone says that, okay, boss, have this medicine, and the fever will go down. What will you do? You will take the thermometer, and at periodic intervals you will keep on measuring your temperature. If it is going down, then the medicine is working. Otherwise, if that does not drops, the mercury does not go down, then basically you will have to switch over to medicines. The next question is from Neeraj. Every analyst can take a different approach to reach a solution of a business problem. How to determine the most viable solution of a business problem? So usually we have had these kind of situations where we were working with the internal analytics team or the in-house team of a particular company, and then we had a solution which was very different from what the in-house guys of that particular company were suggesting. Okay, then you basically kind of make a case for your solution, and the in-house guys will also make their case in front of the stakeholder who will have the final call, and they kind of basically take the kind of final call. Okay, and those solutions are kind of monitored. But yeah, there is no toss of coin where you kind of make a call which one is the better solution. It's just logical decisioning. Business analytics is not something which will take decision for you. It will help you take better decisions. Okay, and that's why a lot of people call analytics also as decision sciences. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Neeraj. Salendu Shaurav, yeah. Business analyst and data analyst work together. Yes, in India, more or less, those are same responsibilities, business analyst and data analyst. However, in foreign countries, data analysts just look into data and create it in a format where the business analyst can look into it and draw inferences. However, in India, most of the countries, it's more or less the same. Most of the companies in India treat them equally. Do we have an advantage if we have econometrics or operational research? Anindita, if I'm pronouncing that name right, no, you don't have an advantage. The only advantage that you can have is if you are logical in your thought process. That's the only advantage. Like I said, in India, there is no professional course for business analytics as of now. I think some of the IIMs are coming together with some course structure, or they have already something running in like last couple of years. But definitely in 2011, when I joined this industry, there was nothing like this. So everyone was equal. Even if someone from a medical background wanted to come and do this, the field was open for them. Future of data analytics in healthcare. Renuka is asking. Healthcare is using humongous amount of analytics. I have when I was with Mu Sigma, I was catering to the needs of one of the biggest top 10 pharmaceutical brands across the world. Okay, and some of the problems that they solve were physician detailing, sales rep incentivization, in terms of clinical trials, if you are aware, how to record those entries, which countries or which profile of custom patients respond better to a certain kind of medication and those kind of things. The future is just huge, and in fact, the future is a reality. If you go to the Western countries in healthcare, there is a lot of data analytics into it. India, however, there is a constraint. You cannot have patents over pharmaceutical drugs in India. That is one of the reasons a lot of companies refrain from coming to India and do pharma research as it is. Forget about bringing analytics into it. But still, we have, I think, Novartis has an operational center in Hyderabad, and they are doing some really cool work in healthcare as well when it comes to analytics. Megha has a question: will analytics help in environmental resource management? Yes, it will. Helps you to kind of make profile where we are having what kind of gaseous discharges, or say what kind of soil pollution is happening because of what kind of material. Okay, they also keep track of that. Probably you should Google that. You will be getting a lot of things in regarding to that. Who is a data scientist? Data scientist, decision scientists, business analyst. In India, everything is the same. Okay, just fancy names. Can entrepreneur skills has added advantage in analytics? Like I said, the baseline is same for everyone, Rudra. Like if you are an entrepreneur, it's just that you have run a business, so maybe you understand businesses a little better. Okay, and when you do that, generally, like I said, there are three components to business analytics: math, technology, and business. Any understanding of business at the beginning of the problem, even without interacting with the clients, that's an advantage for you. Okay, so it advantages, yeah, definitely advantages, but definitely not the final thing when it comes to business analytics. Any more questions, guys? Renuka has another question: skill required for data analytics. Aritra has a question: what programming should we know to get an upper hand in an interview? Okay, first I will answer Aritra's question. Any programming is fine, because when I started my career, people was going crazy about SQL. Then came in SAS, then came in R, then came in Java, then there was Python. Technology keep on changing, guys, and hence the programming languages will also change. And that if you go and ask someone who is very good at programming, they will tell you that the logic remains the same, just the language keeps on changing. So as long as you have basic understandings of one particular language, it should not make a difference to you. However, if you want to start with something, I would say C, because that's very basic, very elementary. However, when I entered into business analytics, I did not know any programming language. Forget about programming languages, I did not know algorithm and flowchart. So did not stop me from.
Pradyut, like Pradyut believes this, right? Many of them just want to know, like, by programming language, how like we should have any prior knowledge about R SAS, like doing projects in R SAS or other. Maybe most probably R will help them have an upper hand.
Okay, so if you know any kind of technical languages like which are used in the data analytics industry as of now, it's an advantage. Okay, but certainly not a deal breaker. Like I said, when I started, I did not know any programming language. Okay, any programming language, but still I kind of made it recently. Okay, now I have a 6-year-old career over here. So if you are open to learning, you will manage these things, and if you have a logical bend of mind, things would work out. Okay, sorry Renuka, I missed out your question. Your question is skills required for data analytics. Okay, you should be able to think from first principles. Basics से सोचने की ability होनी चाहिए. It's like okay, why is someone saying a business is not working? Who is asking me the question? Be curious. Know about the businesses. Okay, be able to break it down into smaller pieces. In terms of tangible skills, if you are asking, okay, a good communication helps. Okay, because at the end you will have to talk to people from different geographies who are probably not very good at, say, English. Their English should be broken. If you can understand their English, that's a great help at times. Okay, I was working with a Japanese client who were not very good at English, and that was a pathetic experience. So have good communication skills, think logically, solve a lot of business cases. Some of them would be available online. If you can learn SQL, SAS, Excel, these kind of things, it's an advantage. Okay, so that is it. I hope that answers your question, Renuka. Devdas asks how data analytics is useful in machine learning. Data analytics is not useful
Joined
for
in.
machine learning is something which is sorry, who's that? Anyone saying something? Hello. Okay, fine. Devdas, coming back to your question, how data analytics is useful in machine learning. To become a machine learning engineer, do we need to know analytics? No, not essentially. So this is how it is. When we say machine learning, okay, say what happens. Say okay, let's imagine a very small machine. Okay, say a calling bell. Okay, what happens? A calling bell has a ringtone for like 10
I get
seconds.
the recording of this webinar.
Yeah, Kashmara, please, you'll get the recording. Yeah, please, you can mute now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Sorry, Devdas, got interrupted. Yeah. So like say a very simple example of machine learning is, say there is a calling bell. It has a ringtone of about 10 seconds. So even if after someone rings it and enters into the house in 2 seconds, the thing will still keep on playing for 10 seconds. Okay. So if I don't want that to be playing for like 10 seconds, I will have to kind of give it a feedback or information that, okay, the person who was wanting to enter into the house has already entered. Okay. And the machine will have to, there is one way I can just change it to 5 seconds. Okay. But then the machine is not learning that. Okay. The machine has to understand, if say X member of the family is coming, then I need to ring for like 3 minutes, 3 seconds. If Y member is coming, then I need to learn it, keep on ringing for like 5 seconds. If someone else is coming, then 10 seconds. Okay. So for that, a feed needs to be going into kind of the system. It has to be a closed loop system, and invariably, okay, there is some kind of data created, okay, when someone enters, like X takes 3 seconds to enter, okay, Y takes 5 seconds to enter, Z takes 10 seconds to enter. These are also data, okay. That data needs to go into the machine and say that, okay, if it's X, then 3 seconds, okay. So in a way, if you see, machine learning uses data, okay, but I could not take that liberty of saying data analytics is compulsory for machine learning or the vice versa. Okay. Hopefully, Devdas, I answered your questions. Any more questions, guys?
Pradyut, Bridges this side. I had the same question as Neeraj had, like, and many people over here had, like, how exactly you will know that this is the right solution? What you explained was, I understand that it's an iterative process. You need to apply that and come back. But as we know, as it happens in the real world, client client pays us, pays us per hour, and you don't have the liberty to go back every time and try the solution and come back. So can you explain some real life case how you handle
Right,
this? Yeah.
right. Real life cases. Okay, fine. So very recently, we were. How many of you are aware of something called as CIBIL score in India? Okay. CIBIL score is something like it tells you your credit worthiness. Okay. So similar to CIBIL, there is a score called FICO in US. Okay, it ranges from 300 to 900. Okay, or 800 something. Don't exactly remember right now. Okay, so what happens? Anyone who comes to us for a loan, we only approve people who are having a score beyond 640. Okay, so there was a suggestion that we can relax it for certain customers who are like having good relationships with us in past. We can go up to say 620. Okay, you can create a lot of data cuts and everything, and say that, okay, 620 looks too liberal, we will keep it at 630. Okay, at the same point in time, we had a compliance team who were saying ki no, it has to be 635. Okay, so there are two solutions right there. Okay, one business said that can we go down to 620? We said no, 620 is too low, we will keep it at 630. Someone said 635. Okay, so like I said, analytics will only help you to make your case stronger. It will help you to kind of take a decision, but it will not take the decision for you. Okay, someone will say that, okay, this is the possible amount of losses that you will make if you go to 630. So someone will say, okay, boss, you will make lesser losses if you choose a score of 635. But if you choose a score of 630, your profitability will increase. Okay. At the same point in time, if you choose 635, your profitability will go down. Like there is general saying, right? You take more risks, more gains you make. Okay. So similarly, means in general life, when there are 2-3 solutions, client has the final say. Okay. And obviously, if you have got 3 solutions, you might want to give all 3 solutions to the client, but you will give client 3 options only if you are convinced that all 3 solutions to this particular problem will be equally impactful, or at least you can say the impact would be similar after kind of looking into the possible losses and profitability. Okay, so business analytics can never tell you, okay, this is what exactly you will do. Okay, once it will help you to tell you, okay, this is what you should be doing, but very rarely you would come across situations where it would be like black and white. It's usually gray if you have multiple solutions to a particular problem. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, Pradeep.
Okay.
So guys, I think it's like, has anyone of you has any more questions, or we can close it. I think Pradeep, it's more than 1 hour and 30 minutes. I think so. If you have some, if you want to
Bridget, Rajesh, can I just mail you if I have any question related to this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, it was great interacting with you folks. It has already been said, any queries, any concerns you have, drop in a note to Brijesh. He will be routing it to me, and I will try to respond to them as soon as I can. Okay. In the meantime, I will also take a couple of days and kind of complete the case studies, which we kind of couple of them were discussed. I will probably leave the third one kind of vacant so that you can give it a shot. At the same point in time, if there is any additional material, I will keep on routing it to Brijesh and he can share it with the larger group. Okay. Thank you guys. It was awesome interacting with you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for your precious time.
हाँ सांग फोन करथिलु कि मुई वेबिनार रे बसथिल तो हैंडल करथली ଭଲ ଲାଷ୍ଟ କୁ ଭଲ ଗଲା ପ୍ରଥମେ ଟିକେ 15 20 30 ମିନିଟ ସେତେବେଳେ କହୁଥିଲା ଟିକେ ୱେବିନାର ସାଉଣ୍ଡ ଫାଉଣ୍ଡ ଟିକେ ଆସୁନଥିଲା ମାନେ 20 ମିନିଟ ନୁହଁ ତାପରେ କେସ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି ଯେତେବେଳେ କହିଲା ଗୋଟେ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ଟିଭ ଥିଲା ଭଲ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ଟିଭ ଥିଲା ହଁ ଏଠି ଅଲଗା ହଁ ପଚାରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ଟିକେ ପଚାରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ମୁଁ ମତେ ତ ଠିକ ଲାଗିଲା ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଆଡକୁ ପଚାରିବି ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ତୁ ପଚାରିବୁ କି ଏନି ଫିଡବ୍ୟାକ ସୋ ଦ୍ୟାଟ କେମିତି କରିବା ନେକ୍ସଟ କଣ ହଉ ଠିକ ଅଛି ହଁ ଠିକ ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି